Sandusky from Lakewood Machine and Tool, back here again for Practical Machinist, continuing our live coverage of ESEC 2023. And I'm here with one of the most exciting companies I've seen in a while, GWS Tool Group, with Johnny. Johnny, thank you very much for having us.
Glad to meet you, very much.
What's your role with GWS?
So I'm product development and business support, product development, that kind of stuff.
And what are we looking at here in front of us?
What we've got here is our custom line of end mills. They are standards, but they're also custom. That's where the custom comes standard. We've got anywhere from the hurry mill, which is fast machining, Illumigator, which kind of is self-explanatory. It's made for the aluminum. It's just going to bust through your aluminum. Highly polished, very sharp, so it does a really good job.
It is integrated chip breakers on there as well.
Yes, sir, it sure does. And if a customer says, hey, the chip breakers are too far spaced apart, we could pull it off the shelf, we'll make it custom, and we'll put multiple chip breakers.
That's really what it comes down to when it's GWS. Although you have standards, everything can be customized.
Can be custom very fast. Yes, sir, absolutely.
And then moving through this here, what's the next one we're looking at?
The next one is the Alpha Mill, which is basically just kind of your general purpose end milling, which is going to be mostly your job shop stuff. The most exciting thing is the hurry mill. So the hurry mill can plunge, it can blind plunge, it can interpolate, and it can ramp 40 degrees. So it's kind of your multi-purpose end mill.
And you can see that's got some huge relief on that.
Got a lot of relief, and that's how we're able to feed it like 315 inches per minute at 10,000 RPM.
Full depth.
Full depth.
Wow.
Yeah. So we got a video that we run where we take actually this one, which is a half-inch model, we bury it an inch deep, and we plunge at 315 feet per second.
And these will go across steel, they'll go across aluminum.
Best for your steels and your harder materials, yeah.
This is actually better for harder materials.
For harder materials, yes,
which
sir.
is funny, because typically when you have a high helix like that, you think soft.
You think soft.
Not with this geometry.
No, it's made to go fast and heavy.
And what kind of coatings does that have on there?
This is the Al-10 that's currently on there. It'll come in a multiple varieties.
And if I wanted something different,
we
could get it.
You just look in the custom catalog and order what you like. Yes, sir.
And what are we moving on to here?
This is the roughing line, so it's really full of chip breakers, which you can kind of see in this version here.
Big time.
So it's just made to just bust chips up. So it's made just to get rid of the stock, get the material out of there. You'd come back in with something like the Hurry Mill or the Alpha brand and do your finish cut and get a real good finish out of it.
This looks like a modern, updated version of something like a corn cob mill.
Exactly.
Except the performance is going to be way
much
different.
Better, yes. And again, it can come as a custom if you like. Most of these are going to be standards, but they'll come with several coatings on them as well.
And what kind of industries are using these right now?
A lot of these are going to be your GEs. It's going to be lots of plate milling, aero structures, heating and air, HVAC systems, that kind of stuff.
I would definitely think aerospace, because what do you have to do with aerospace? Make everything light, take out as much material as possible.
Correct, yes, sir.
And what's this last line we have here?
This last line is actually the micro reamers. So basically, they go down to 6 thousandths diameter.
Oh, that's a reamer.
It can be a reamer or an end mill, either or. The biggest thing is micro milling.
Right.
So a lot of this is used in a lot of like your semiconductor work, stuff like that.
Circuitry, circuit boards, PCBs.
Yep. Little pieces in your iPhone, pieces in your tablets, stuff like that.
I could have used one of these recently for a job I had, and my life was much more difficult because I didn't have it.
Yeah.
Now, of course, when we're talking GWS, we're talking custom.
Custom.
This looks like the biggest assortment of custom tooling I've ever seen in my life.
This is a lot of custom tooling that might have started out standard at one point and ended up being custom. Anywhere from key mill cutters, key slot cutters, reamers, face mills. You got your milling cutters.
Right.
For your shell mill cutters, my bad, shell mill cutters. And then anything custom like little recess tools, face mills
for
again.
undercutting, any kind of feature specific.
Yes,
this
sir.
Here is a face groover, as far as I can tell.
Face groover. Yep. So to cut an O-ring groove in the face of your part.
So instead of having to use a little end mill and go around it a bunch of times, this thing you can essentially plunge in. It's about taking your cycle time out.
Correct. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And this here, I was playing around with this earlier. What are we looking at here? It looks like a reamer, but there's something on the end of it.
Yeah. So this is very interesting because it's got a custom interface. And so it's an expensive tool. The issue they were having here was there was 2 issues actually solved. One was breaking of the drill before the reamer, and then it crashes the reamer. The second thing was if it goes too deep, it's a bad part. So what we did is we added a stop here, and so when this hits the end of the part, it cuts the coolant off to the coolant holes, and the machine's programmed to know that if the PSI gets too high, it shuts the machine off and says, oh, something's wrong.
So essentially it's a fail-safe. Can't go too deep, can't go and try to drill with a reamer, as we've all done at some point.
Exactly.
It doesn't work, guys. Don't try it.
100%.
Then, of course, we have Cutters like this, that's obviously for some kind of groove profile.
It is, yep. So that's an interpolator cutter. So it's basically walking around the part, cutting in all these grooves in one shot.
So again, instead of using something like a single flute like this, where you'd have to go around and around, we're taking out cycle time, increasing productivity.
100%, yep. And we also have indexables. We'll do indexables PCD tipped, or we'll take a standard indexable and make it custom, and that's where the custom comes standard.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that's a standard square, right? Four-sided, and we took it and just put the grooves in there, so we're making basically a V in the customer's part. 2 flanges and a V, and then they can still index or cut it.
Do you guys find that a lot of the custom stuff you do, it's about removing operations? That's kind of the trend I see here. Why do it, why get 3D mill on that profile if I could get that cutter, do it in one shot? Is that kind of where a lot of people come to you guys?
It is. It's a cycle reduction and it's quality improvement. So basically, if you put all the profile in the tool and you certify the tool, you can do a check on one feature and visually check the rest of it.
If one's right, you know the rest have to be right.
Absolutely.
Because they're all relative.
Especially if you're doing a visual and there's no imperfection in the part.
Which is very important with some of the industries that these solve.
Absolutely.
But the other thing I know we want to look at here is this new stuff over here.
This is the full custom.
What are we looking at here?
So this is formerly Peterson Tool Company out of Nashville, Tennessee. Been in business since 1958, so we have a lot of experience with that. I've been there 20 years, so I've got experience on this. This is mostly going to be for your Swisses, your high volume multi-spindles, which could be an Acme, could be a Davenport, it could be a brand new Chute. Doesn't really matter. Everything's going to be a custom interface for whatever the machine holder is, custom inserts for your part geometry. Every insert's replaceable, so you run one insert, you loosen up two bolts, take the clamp off, insert out, insert in, tighten your clamp back up, you've made a tool change.
And these are for machines, if you guys don't know, like screw machines. They are made for super high production, very short, like 1, 2, 3 second cycle times.
Correct.
So instead of turning on that surface, you're literally touching that off to the part. It's doing that whole feature in one shot.
Correct. Yep, and everything can be offered with through coolant. This has been a really popular line. We call it the pointing line, so it's thrift turn, thrift point. What happens here is your part feeds through a bushing. You can put on 4 or 5 features plus face the part off of this tool.
Oh, it's called the point because it's like sharpening a pencil.
Yep, so it's making like injector needles, that kind of stuff, right? And
very,
so
very small stuff if you need it.
Stuff, mostly Swiss, but it has been used on Davenport, some of the multi-spindles. The beauty of this product is we can take a 25, 30-year-old machine, maybe a 100-year-old machine, right? And we can put this product on there and we can make it as tight, as precise as a Swiss or a CNC, a multi-million-dollar machine you would buy today.
Because I don't know a whole lot about screw machines, but I do know one of the difficult things with them is adjustment. And if you see here, there are adjustments just about every way you could have them.
Correct, yes. Basically, this attachment would mount on your machine, and in a multi-spindle, when you index the spindles, they don't always lock back up in the same spot. So the beauty of this one is that it allows a float. So the head will float and pick up on the part and kind of take out the slop in your machine. This gives you taper adjustment, so you loosen one bolt, you got a micro screw, you can adjust your taper very easily, where the traditional holders are a push-pull feature.
So sorry, this is going to adjust it this way?
It's going to adjust it this way.
Okay, the rotational.
Right? So this will capture your part between the two. This is your diameter adjustment. So once you set your gap in your part diameter, you can adjust diameter here.
And you can see, guys, here, this is actually, that whole face there is an insert. So basically, it's going to run against that wheel, if I'm correct.
Correct, yep.
Into that geometry, and that's going to cut that entire geometry in one shot.
One shot, yep. After you form it, you'll shave through it, and this goes through the part in this direction, right? And it picks it up, and it floats like you see here. And then you can adjust your diameter real fine. If you got taper, then you adjust this, and then adjust the head sideways like this, right?
And what kind of industries do you see putting these on the floor right now?
These are real big automotive, because automotive is really high volume. A lot of plumbing products.
Plumbing products.
Tons of plumbing fittings, and it could be anything from HVAC, it could be actual plumbing, it could be stuff like race cars, if you will, fuel injections, that kind of stuff. The beauty of this is that to make a change on this particular product, you loosen up 3 bolts. You take this head out, you change the insert, and then you just put the head back in and tighten up your 3 bolts.
Spending more time doing production, less time calibrating, less time changing inserts.
Correct. Most customers will buy 2 heads. They'll set up a head each, and then when they do a tool change, it's that simple.
You're done in 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Bink, away you go.
And you can datum point it with a family of parts. So if you got like 5 parts that run across the same machine, you can have 5 heads all set up for them 5 parts. You just bam, bam, bam. Same with the thrift form, so it's 1 bolt. Head comes out, the insert's all across the face.
Oh, that's one big
Right?
insert.
And so this insert rough out for this tool. This again has diameter, micro adjustment diameter, so this will adjust the diameter of your part. And then it's got taper on the back side as well, which will just taper this way.
So literally we're taking machines that, like you said, could be 60 years old and giving them an update just with this tool here.
Just with a holder attachment.
No need to rebuild the entire machine and reinvent the wheel.
Correct.
Now,
Exactly.
if people want to find out more about GWS, where should they go?
They should go to GWSToolGroup.com. If you want to request a quote, you can do sales@GWSToolGroup.com. All the literature's in GWS Tool Group on the website. Anything, we've got end mills, taps, drills, reamers, PCD tip, all of our inserted stuff. It'll all be catalogs online.
No matter what you need, it can come custom.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Enjoy your show.
You